Grunewald was not here at Saint-Sulpice for many years, about 9 years, is that correct?
Yes, yes, Jean-Jacques Grunewald is also a very great student of Marcel Dupré, composer, Grand Prix de Rome, and he had 10 years when he replaced Marcel Dupré as a young student at the beginning of his career. During 10 years he replaced Marcel Dupré at Saint-Sulpice, and then his 10 last years of his life he became organist of Saint-Sulpice. So he was often saying that Saint-Sulpice organ of service is alpha and omega.
I see. And I can see from the picture behind you that Grunewald died in 1982.
82, yes. Yes.
And you were brought to Saint-Sulpice in what year?
In 85.
So what happened in those years between Grunewald and your appointment here?
Also, when Dupré died, Jean-Jacques Grunewald was not named very soon after. You know, of course you have to organize a jury and so on. So in 1971, until Jean-Jacques Grunewald was named, another student of Marcel Dupré, Françoise René, played during the time. And she played again interim when Jean-Jacques Grunewald died in 82 until I was named organist.
Now we come to a subject that your humility will not allow us to speak much about, but that is your career and your background. You said that you're from Alsace?
I am born in Alsace, yes.
And what was your first experience with the King of Instruments, with the organ?
I cannot say that I am born in a family with great musicians. My parents are dear people which I love very much, and they have done everything for me that I can become an organist, a musician. But they are not professional musicians. So when I was a little child, I did spend my childhood painting, drawing. The whole time I was drawing. And when I became around 10, so my father has bought a piano, you know, which was nice in this time to play the piano. A cousin played the piano, so I had to play the piano. And I must say, as I did start with not a great interest to music, because I was fascinated with the painting. And then my interest in church music came from the fact that when I was young, we lived in Alsace in a little village in which there was a wonderful spiritual life in our parish, wonderful liturgy, a great choir and a great organ, and all this of course was inspired me for the future. But probably the thing which decided on my career was a movie.
Oh, really?
And was a movie, yes, and this was a movie with Albert Schweitzer. And I remember very good this movie, of course. It was, the title of the movie is Il est minuit, Dr. Schweitzer. It's midnight, Dr. Schweiz, I don't know if you know this movie. It's a theater piece by Gilbert Cesbron, which was brought to movie. And when I saw this, I absolutely had to become an organist. And so I started the piano quite late, at 10, you know, this is quite late. But 1 year after I started the organ, in the conservatoire of our town in Alsace, in Mulhouse, this is south of Alsace, quite near Basel in Switzerland.
So what brought you then to Paris?
Oh, and then of course my teachers, organ, piano, harmony in Mulhouse, did see that I went very quickly with diplomas, and they decided that I have to go on in Paris. And my parents have been then wonderful, because they did not have a lot of money. You know, my mother went to have a job to pay my lessons in Paris and my start in Paris, because in those times the level of the conservatoire in the province of France had not the same level as the entry of the Conservatoire Supérieur in Paris. So I had to take a lot of private lessons with teachers of the Conservatoire in Paris to be at the level, you know, of the entrance exam, because you get into the Conservatoire Supérieur in Paris after an entrance exam.
So your organ professor at the Conservatoire at that time was Madame Falcinelli.
Yes, I took during 2 years the lessons to be prepared for the entrance exam, and at the same time I took also lessons of harmony writing with Monsieur and Madame Lantier, and they prepared me to enter the class of Maurice Durufflet, who was, at that time, he was harmony professor at the Conservatoire in Paris.
Who were others? What was Durufflet like as a teacher?
Maurice Durufflet was a very severe teacher, but I have just the most wonderful souvenir of the time which I spent in his class, 2 years. I was in his class 2 years, and it was just wonderful, because he was so enthusiastic about some great composers, like of course Johann Sebastian Bach, of Schumann, Fauré, Debussy, Ravel, and he would give us all his enthusiasm for this music. He was a very severe teacher. Yes, you probably know also that he was very severe with himself, you know, because we know that his compositions, he always changed his compositions. Even when they were edited, he would change some passages and ask to the editor to have another version and so on. And of course we did spend also many minutes on one measure, you know, by a given bass, given chant. He looked very much for the perfection, you know, and of course an artist has always to try to get to the most perfect solution in when he learns a piece for the interpretation, but also when he learns the harmonies and the analysis of the great music of the composers.
How are you sharing your gifts and your abilities through teaching? Do you teach in Paris, or would you tell us about your experience as a teacher?
Right now I do not teach in Paris, because I have a teaching position in the Musikhochschule in Frankfurt, where I have the great honor to be the second successor of Helmut Wallschatten. And I must say, as someone from Alsace, you know, Alsace is a country which has been one time German, one time French, and like Albert Schweitzer, several people of Alsace have been in their career often working for the culture of France in Germany, and the country for the culture of Germany in France. So having these two wonderful positions, I must say I am very lucky. I am very lucky. So right now I teach in Germany in this Musikhochschule.
And how often do you travel to Frankfurt?
I go there every 2 weeks and giving double lessons to the students